Hey people, welcome back to my channel. If you're part of our Naz family, please do quick and go and mark present in the comment section. I'm marking register, okay? I'm watching you. Today, in today's video, you know me, I like gist, and I feel like if I don't gist you guys about my experience, my lessons, what's the point? I have to share my experience, okay? I have to raise conversation here from others as well. And today's topic, it's going to be interesting. Get yourself a glass of wine, a cup of tea, whatever, juice, whatever, because you need to be sipping something as we're talking about what I'm going to discuss today. So I'm going to be sharing my own experience in this phase of marriage, what I've learned so far, what I think is important to be thinking about when heading into marriage, you know, all those kind of things. Trust me, before marriage, before now, I used to be Miss Independent. You can't talk to me like, what do you mean? You can't stop my shine kind of girl. Like, I used to have this idea that marriage was all about a man trying to control you and, you know, make you do that, make you do this. And I used to feel like if you marry, especially if you marry the wrong person, all your luck, all your shine will just block. So coming from that kind of mentality, I know it's wrong, I know. Coming from that kind of mentality and now being married, like we did my introduction June 6th last year, 2020, and this is now November. And after introduction, in my own culture, you go straight to your husband's house. Like I went straight to my husband's house. I packed my things and went to my husband's house. Even though we did our wedding 6 months later, I was already living with him. The wedding was more like just a formality. You understand, that kind of thing. Yeah, so technically I got married. They paid my bride price on my introduction day, June 6th. So I feel like it's been well over a year of me being married. I can now share some of my lessons, share my experience with you all, so that maybe you can take notes, you can, you know, we can just have a discussion about it, you know. I'm not someone, like usually I'm a private person, but I'm a sharer also. I like to build a community. I like people to share their experiences. I like to learn from others. So I feel like young girls out there might want to watch this video to just learn a thing or two, or even teach me a thing or two, you know. So feel free to drop any comments you may have in the description box, and I'll be happy to get into it. So where's my notebook? Because I actually had to think about this thing. I had to think and be like, okay, what have I learned? What have I learned? There are many. I don't even know where to start from. But let me get my notebook and I'll be right back. See, I think one of the most important lessons I've learned is don't talk so much. You see this talking, we women, we too talk. Sometimes you can over talk in a way, say things you don't mean. Sometimes you can talk, the actual point you're trying to make will be lost. Sometimes you can talk and overshadow the opinion or the feelings of the person you are talking to. So for me, as someone who's always doing chore, I have to learn I should not talk so much. I should listen sometimes, you know, to what the other person is saying. For me, that was a really huge lesson, because before I'll be like, when you're even like, okay, I'm one of those people when you're trying to talk, I have to learn the hard way that it's important to let other people talk. You know, when like 5 people are saying a story at the same time and we're all trying to talk over each other, I used to be one of those people that want to share my own point of view. I want to share my own story. I want to share what I know happened. But even before getting into marriage, I learned that that's not the way forward, and that's I have to tone it down a bit and listen and hear what other people have to say. And I even read one book that said it. You benefit more from actually listening to others. There's not much to gain from talking. And like, my husband is not a talker, so if you start yiddy, you will just lose him. Like, he will just zone out. You understand? So for me, one of the first lessons I learned is don't talk so much. Rather, listen. Okay, there's a lot to be achieved by just keeping quiet. Honestly speaking, you think it's by, oh, let me win this argument, I'm going to achieve this, let me win this argument, it's going to listen to me. Sometimes men just keep you quiet. It's not because you've actually convinced them. A lot of times it's not because you convinced them. So once you just made your point, just close it, shut it. This is a very important lesson that I've learned. And sometimes you start talking. You even realize that the person you're talking to is even keeping quiet. You just be talking like a mad person. You not be wondering, like, you know, this people are just like, what am I even really saying? Do you understand? I don't know if you understand what I mean, but yes, remember not to talk so much. For me, that's one thing I've learned. It's one of the first lessons that I learned since being married. Because, you know, once you start living with a man in the same house, whether you're married or you're just cohabiting, conflicts will arise. And I've come to realize that it's not by a lot of times it's not by over talking that you resolve it or that you get your point across. Just tone it down. Most times if you calm down, actually explain it in as few words as possible, your point will be much clearer and precise, and the person will get it, and you're most likely to move on better than when you over talk or talked way too much. Okay, so that's it for number one. Another lesson I've learned is patience. Hey, you see, patience, you have to be patient. It's very, 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 very important to be patient, because like me, everything is one, like quick. So a lot of times I don't take a breather to actually process my feelings, my thoughts. So I realized that, like for instance now, if you're patient, let me say you ask your husband to do something, or your partner, whatever, you ask your husband to do something, and you're not patient enough to even see them execute that, you might cause problems for yourself. You might be tense, you might have anxiety. Sometimes once you said something once or twice, just be patient and see the person actually execute whatever it is you're telling them, or let them express what they want to express in their own way. Or let me say, for instance, you've told your husband, I don't like when you do A, B, C. You're like, okay, expecting the person to change it right now. Sometimes it might take time. As a human being, they might have a bit of pride. They might want to process those things you've told them. Maybe it's even be from, maybe in their own head, they are planning towards another time where they'll show you they've actually heard what you said. But because you're so impatient, you start nagging them, I told you to do this, but you didn't do that. A lot of times, impatience can also make you jump to conclusions, when you've never heard from the other person. So wait. You see, this thing called patience. You have to learn to wait for the right time. Like, you might want something for your husband now. You start, like for me, I want something for my husband. I'll start saying, there you go, I need to tell him now, I need to do this now. A lot of times, that time I want to do it might not be perfect for him. So I have to be patient enough to say, okay, no, hey, why not just wait when he comes back from work after he has had his bath, and that would be a better time to talk to him. I don't need to call him right now while he's on that hot sun, or while he's going here, or while he's busy running around to tell him this. That kind of thing. As long as it's not something pressing. There's just so many instances where I've learned that patience is virtue. Okay, like for instance, people might see maybe their husband talking to someone that they don't approve of, and instead of them to wait to get home to approach them and say, honey, babe, who was that? I did not understand that. Or there was some kind of chemistry I did not understand, and here an explanation. They might just lash out then and there and cause a scene. Patience is virtue in a lot of ways. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. Okay, your husband says something that you don't like outside. Let me say you guys are at a function and you just start shouting there. Like, maybe him too, you start shouting. Before you know it, people are having a public disagreement. Whereas patience will actually mean that you get home, talk to him in a calm manner, and you see, maybe he'll be more receptive. I'm not saying this guarantees anything, I'm just saying in my own experience, patience is very, 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 very important. Like, and I'm somebody that is impatient, so I had to learn the hard way this one, that by just waiting a little bit, I'm more likely to get what I actually want. Yes, that one is true. I'm more likely to get what I want if I actually wait, think things through, plan, before spilling or before actually doing anything. Have you ever had any experience where you found that if you actually waited, your husband, gave you that thing you wanted or did what you wanted? I feel it happens for me a lot. But in this first year of marriage, that's something I've already learned. I pray that I can continue to execute it though, because it's not always easy. As a naturally impatient person, I definitely struggle with it. But I'm hoping that as we move forward, I'll get better and better at it. Yeah, so related to this patience one is timing. Like I said, something can be more or less effective based on when you actually try to do it, okay? Like, this applies to so many things. So you're trying to get money from your husband. You know that by the end of the month, it's always stretch thing. Just wait a little bit. Ask him in a week's time. Ask him when, just in a different time, you might see that you might actually get more from him. Maybe if you ask him now, he'll give you like 100k. If you ask him this, he'll give you 200k. Can be any amount. I'm just giving you an example here. Or you can maybe say you want to tell your husband about something that you want to do, and you tell him when he's stressed out as opposed to telling him when he's feeling chill, having fun in a happy place. That one is common sense, but some people don't know this. Wait till the perfect time to actually share things, because for me, it works, and I hope that it will continue to work for me. Like, you just have to be observant to find out the perfect time to tell your husband. So number four, I think, is communication. You see, communication, we all say we need to communicate better. Like, for me, I learned how to actually communicate clearly, okay? That telling somebody something doesn't mean communication. Sometimes you can even be nagging and think you're communicating. You can be like, I don't even know, we've not gone out since Saturday, or every time you're doing this one, you don't want to go out. You might just be nagging indirectly and you say you're communicating, whereas you're actually not. Yeah, for me, I had to learn the hard way that sometimes it's not by being sarcastic that you're communicating. Like, you have to clearly state, hey, I need you to make out time for me, or hey, can you take away the trash? Hey, can you wash your plate after eating? Hey, can you come back straight from work so that we can go here? Hey, please change the baby's diaper. Like, you literally have to say those things clearly, because men cannot go through your head, and everything you say, I be your mind to know what you're thinking, and everything you say is open to interpretation. Someone here can interpret it as A, another person can interpret it as B. So it's very important to state clearly what you want. So for me, one thing I've learned is to communicate clearly without sarcasm, and just be as point blank as possible, so that if it's something your partner or my husband cannot do, you can tell me, oh, see, oh, I cannot do this because A, B, and C, you know, that kind of thing. Like, there's so much more when it comes to communication, but I just feel this is just the basic principle that I've learned so far. And I still struggle, because as an Igbo babe now, I'll be like, hey, so I have to spell out everything, are you a child, you know, that kind of thing. But I've learned that clearer that I communicate my needs, the quicker it's done, and we all have peace, and it's really important. So yes, that's one thing I've learned. And then number 5 is listening. Okay, kind of like what I said, I shouldn't talk so much. Listening is very important. You know, sometimes as a human being, when someone is talking to you, they'll be saying things, but you kind of hear what you want to hear. Someone can say, hey, you don't tidy the house, you don't keep the house tidy, for instance, and you're hearing you're a dirty person. No, it's not always like that. You know, we don't listen to understand what the person is saying. The person might be saying, oh, see, maybe in the morning you always leave things on the counter. Not saying that you're actually dirty, just saying that maybe you should put in effort to tidy more. So sometimes I feel like what I've learned is, if my husband says something maybe in a certain tone, I can interpret it with thinking of his intentions, you know. So like, what is he trying to say? What is his intention? What is he trying to achieve? Is he saying something really bad, or is he trying to tell me to improve in a certain area, or is he trying to complain or to say something he does not like that I do? You know, it's very important to think of the intention. A lot of times we don't always get words right, especially men. Maybe some of them, my husband doesn't talk too much, so when he says something, my mind will just, I'll be the one thinking of 10,000 things, you know. So it's really, really, really important to just listen. Actually listen to what the person is saying. Don't hear to reply, don't be defensive, just be calm and actually listen. In a way, I've kind of learned to read the meaning behind what he's actually saying, as opposed to getting defensive and, you know, we'll start an argument that it's just not necessary when the person did not mean anything bad. I mean, it's different when they are saying insulting you or something, and you know it's coming from a bad place, but a lot of times someone might be saying something just to express their thoughts, their feelings, and it's not always good to just be defensive and just be looking for a reply. You know, sometimes kind of you already are thinking of the reply you give somebody, you know, before they even say what they want to say. I don't know if that makes any sense. Number 6 is budgeting and planning. I've learned that in marriage it's very important to have like a communication or a very, very clear plan on what the budget is, how you can plan, how to work within your capabilities, because this thing can be such a huge problem in a lot of marriages. Like for me, it was very important for my husband and I to discuss, figure out, okay, what's our plan, what's our budget for this family every month, how are we going to be handling food, how are we going to be handling my own expenses, what are the other miscellaneous expenses that he has to handle. So yeah, I'm an Igbo babe, so I believe my husband, I'm traditional in that sense. In as much as I still want to have my own finances and everything, like it's my husband's place and his duty to take care of me, take care of the house, take care of my child, take care of a lot of things. So I had that belief coming into the marriage, and he did too. I made sure he had that belief coming into the marriage. So we always made a clear plan, a budget, and I hope it continues to work for us, because I never want to be that couple that are fighting over money, and it's just something that has to be discussed, talked about, and make sure you're on the same page. And for me, I learned this very early on in the marriage, and I'm grateful for that. this one could be a whole topic of discussion on its own. You need to ask your husband clearly, how much are you able to give me every month? And then you yourself know how you can work with it. If it's not enough, maybe you add your own money, maybe you do other things. But it's something that you have to learn very early in marriage. And me, I'm very thankful that I've kind of figured it out for us. So it's also very important to be selfless in marriage. I think this is like the 6th lesson I've learned. Everything is not about me. Everything can never be about me. Like thinking about the other person too, how they feel about things, how they will, you know, accept certain things, how certain things will be for them. It's very, very important too, because at the end of the day, marriage, if you're selfish, it's not going to work. Like you both have to be selfless, and what's the, let's say, mutual best for both of you is very important. So, and me, as I said, I'm very independent though. I used to hang my shoulder, like you can't talk to me. I'm very, please mind your business, let me mind my business. But marriage has really taught me about partnership. Like it's literally a partnership. It's not just about you. So you have to be selfless. You have to always think about the other person's interest. You have to think about their desires, their needs, their wants. It's literally not just about you and your stuff alone. So if you're a naked till you die, that's you yourself and yourself till you die. You have to change that mindset when you get into marriage. And for me, I've really learned that one. I think it's one of the few lessons that I learned. There are just so many times you know that maybe your husband or your wife needs you, and you just selfishly plan to maybe go on a vacation with your friends. Like, discuss about these things. No one is mutually convenient for both of you for you to do things. It's no longer the time where you could just do things by yourself for yourself. It's like, okay, say your husband now, say you have a household where you share responsibilities, right? And you just take all your money to go and buy a wig when you know that you and your husband share responsibilities equally, okay? And if you buy that wig, things will be too difficult. Like, these are what I mean. Of course, it will be a different situation for everyone, but I really learned that it's important to think as a unit, okay? To think as a unit, like my husband and I, than just me, myself, and I, because it makes a difference and it really helps for peace to continue to reign in the marriage. Another thing I know and I've learned is that, see, marriage is not just all about baby dancing, having the sex. Like friendship is so important. Baby dancing is an icing on top of the cake, but like friendship is so essential. You have to be able to talk to your husband, your wife. You have to be able to say things like without walking on eggshells, without fear. You have to be able to say, hey you, yeah, okay mana, shebi, you know that. Like you have to be able to be casual, because at the end of the day you realize that it's not even about those physical things. Like that emotional connection, that friendship is what is going to carry you through. Okay, my husband might piss me off so much and I'll just look at him and I'll be like, look at your big head, like, because and he will just laugh, even though we are angry at each other, because at the end of the day, ultimately he's my friend. I can still want to do things for him because he's my friend. You know, all those physical things eventually is going to die down years into the marriage, but he's my friend, and that's what I'm so grateful for, because we can joke, we can laugh, we play like kids. Like, friendship is important. If you don't have a deep friendship with your husband, like, you really have to work on that, or your wife, you really have to work on that, because at the end, that's really what will keep you going when the things get hard. When things are hard, that's what will keep you striving to get the marriage to work better. See, respect. Respect is so important. You don't want to make your husband or your wife feel like they are nothing, or they don't matter, their opinion does not matter, or they are trash. Like, you really have to make them feel like the king, the queen. Respect is so important. Everybody likes to be respected, whether you're the wife, whether you're the husband. You have to acknowledge what the person says, what the person believes, what the person wants. You have to make them if your husband or your wife says something and you just go ahead to dismiss it, they will not feel respected. If they tell you to do something and you just don't even consider and you just dismiss it, they will not feel respected. Like, respect their opinion, respect their desires, their needs, and you see, when you treat that person like a king or queen, you even have more peace self. They'll be happy, and also as a result you'll be happy. I don't even know if it was how many I've said, but like, my brain is on fire. I feel like I've talked too much, and I don't want this video to be too long because I don't want to bore you. But yes, these are the few things I've learned in my first year of marriage. It's only by God's grace that I can continue to maintain them. It's not as if like I'm so perfect and I'm so good at this. I'm literally figuring it out by the day, and we still have conflicts, still have disagreements. But yeah, there's so much to marriage that I've not even covered because I don't know anything. I'm still clueless, and I'm just 1 year into the marriage, and I'm still learning every day. These are just few things I know, as a matter of fact, has helped me, and I think will continue to help me. I'm open to more lessons, and like me, I'm not, you see, stubbornness is something that I've thrown away in this marriage, and I hope that it will continue to help me. So help us God, we will live and die together. We're going to be old together. So this video, as I said, is just a bit of girl chat, sharing what I've learned since being engaged and married, so you can have an idea what to expect if you're like young, still waiting to get into that chapter, or if you're like me, doing like hanging your shoulders, doing strong head. I'm Miss Independent, nobody can ever tell me anything, I can never bend to fit anybody, I can never live my life with anybody. To understand that, see, marriage is a partnership, and you see those things you don't want to do, you're going to have to bend a little, not completely, but you're going to have to bend a little to accommodate that person's needs as well. That's why it's a partnership, and that's how it's going to work. Okay, so yes, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, and if you've not marked presents, go and write present now. Drop a comment, let me know that you're here. Okay, show your presence in the comment section. If you have any more advice for me moving forward in this marriage, drop it in the comment section. But for now, pretty much that's what I have to say. That's my experience, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Okay, if you've not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.